Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here. Welcome to the continuation of our 100% full game walkthrough for South of Midnight. We're kicking it off now with Chapter 3, which has a total of 7 readable collectibles, 385 floofs we can get, as well as the tin flips, which are a part of that, and a new collectible type called Health Filaments. As we start, let's go ahead and walk forward. This is a longer chapter and also very dense with collectibles and things we can grab. Before we drop down into the first fighting area, I will remind you that I do have the aerial rend and the amplified rend. Getting kills with both of these will result in an achievement, so let me go ahead and try a couple of them. You probably can't get both of them in this single fight, but you'll get them eventually if you just use these couple of abilities. And there will be a new enemy type here. It's a nest, and you can target the nest, use LT to pull a larva out of the nest, and then use the right trigger to throw the larva. You can also push larva that's already spawned back at other haints. So those are kind of two mechanics that you can use here in this fight, and they work as follows. I'm going to be trying to get a couple of kills by using my new kind of overcharged X attack here, holding it. It does a decent amount of damage, and it also works towards an achievement that we don't quite have yet. And once the other enemies spawn in here any second, we'll also be working on those aerial rends, which are a jump into an X, and that causes a bit of a slam. If you interrupt enemy attacks like I just did there, you will be making your way towards progress of that specific achievement. You do get hit a little bit, so it's not something you want to necessarily, boost always. I do like this attack quite a bit, but it can be a little bit difficult just to boost specifically against these enemies. After about 5 or 10 attack interruptions, you should get an achievement here, which I did unlock in a practice run called Taking the High Road. So that's something you can work towards by using your aerial attacks. And then also we're going to be using, grabbing our healing if we need it. We're going to be holding down the attack button to do our big attack. And if we kill a couple of enemies with that big attack, we may also get an achievement, although that one did take me quite a few of the little arenas that we're going to participate in before it unlocked. I'm not exactly sure how many enemies you need to take down using that ability, but if you do take out a few, it will unlock as we make progress through the game. After this first fight here, we can unravel the stigma. This should give us our first 5 out of 385 floofs, and we can start kind of working towards more and more. As it clears, you should notice the path we can take. As I reference my notes really quick, let's go ahead and follow that path around the corner. The collectibles are very dense, and there's quite a few, probably 40 of them total in this chapter. But we'll make our way kind of through that weaved ledge up to the branches, press the right trigger to clear the branches, and then go forward. Here we will be taught a new little mechanic, which is a very simple double jump. As if you've played any other platformer in the past before, you know that a double jump is simply just jumping and then jumping again. It lets you get a little bit of extra distance. It lets you get a little bit of extra, movement in your combat. And once you do climb up the next ledge, make sure you take a sharp right-hand turn around the corner, jump over the log, use the right trigger to clear the branch to find a hidden floof right here worth 10. Now from here, you can kind of just try to jump across this first gap, and instead of following the ghosts, we do have a couple more collectibles we can grab. So you'll notice that there's a floof kind of sitting on the tree branch in the middle of the area. To grab that, jump to the left, clear the branches, and then head up the kind of log here that curves up onto the tree to get yourself onto the top of the tree. Here, use the ledges of the tree to get to the floof. And this is one of the kind of new sizes. As in Chapter 2, these were only worth 5 or 10, and this one is worth 20. From here, we can try to go to our regular path, which would be to jump across this gap right here. And we will need to make a ledge. On the other side of this jump on the wall, you'll see a drawing Grab that. That's our first of 7 readable collectibles. This one's called the Happiest Day. And they are numbered specifically to the collectible that you grab. So if you miss one, it would be number 2. It wouldn't be just showing up as 1 again. Jump across the gap to our next collectible type, which is the Health Filament. I believe there are 9 of these throughout the entire game, only 1 in this chapter. You collect it, and as you get 3 of them, you'll get an increase to your total health, and an achievement does unlock for finding our very first one. Around this corner, go and take the right-hand turn at the split in the path to find another floof, and make sure you grab that. And then we can continue along our real path, which is to the left. Here you want to make sure you make the ledge so you can get across, and then we'll be brought to another little bit of a tutorial for yet another new movement ability. This one is for the glide, which just allows us to get kind of across much bigger distances.
Thank you.
Now, what we can do is just double jump and then hold B in the air to glide. And this should get us across this kind of very large distance. And then as we drop down after this third pillar, don't go to the story path, which would be kind of directly in front of you. Instead, what we want to do is go to the right-hand side, and there will be not very obvious little side path that you can double jump and glide towards. And then you can double jump and glide again over some water to get to a very well-hidden floof. From there, we can make our way back to where we came from. And then we can actually just go and interact with this story element before we move forward.
That's from our house. That's Mama's work binder. What? Back here again? Mama?
I hate this thing. It's like cracking open Pandora's box. It's so hard for me to not take my feelings home to Hazel afterwards. I want to shield her. But I just keep pushing her away.
I didn't know her work affected her so much. She can't hear me. What was all that anyway? That felt different.
After that, let's just follow the little story path for just a little bit longer.
She's got to be alive.
And this will bring us to another cutscene pretty shortly here.
Hello? Is someone there?
Obviously, use the double jump and the glide when possible to get a little bit of extra distance, which we will need. There's nothing really to worry about for at least a couple of seconds here. As you do reach this giant landmass in front of us, there is something to grab, though, so let's go ahead and grab it. You'll first have to watch this cutscene, though.
Get off.
Hey, Hazel.
Who's there?
You up here.
Where?
My salvation.
A talking fish. Nope. Ain't no way.
Oh, Weaver, like you must have seen stranger things than me. And I was so sorry to hear about your misfortune. You find your mama yet?
How do you know about my mama?
Well, before I tell you what I know, would you mind? This gentleman here scooped me up, but he ain't been equally good about letting go. Would you kindly do your Weaver thing and help me down?
What weeby thing?
Oh, don't tease now. Sound carries underwater. It ain't every day I hear about a new weaver such as yourself. And lo and behold, with this stuff and all.
I just found this thing. Look, my house got swept away in the storm with my mama in it, and I'm just trying to find my mama before...
Oh, you really don't know anything. How disappointing.
I'm getting really sick and tired of folks being disappointed.
Oh, no, mortified to a fan, no. I just, well, you can't see strands, can't you? Like knots, tangles, thingies.
Thingies? What are you talking about?
Like strings floating in the air.
Oh, yeah.
Well then, I can teach you the rest. And a train weaver ought to be able to rescue her mama easy. I can even help you find her. When you get me down, of course.
How am I supposed to do that?
Well, it's like this, see? Our world is made of strands all wove together. Now, when something terrible or unnatural happens to a creature, the strands get all knotted. Now, this here tree went through some tribulations. Must have left its knots all over the place. All you gotta do is use your magic bottle and...
Wait. I don't have a magic bottle.
No?
No.
Well, there's an old bottle tree over this way. The sun's always glinting in my eyes from it. You could probably find one there.
Okay, so I get the magic bottle and then...
Just get it. I'll tell you the rest after. But hurry. Some folks think I'm delicious.
All right, so as soon as the cutscene ends here, let's go ahead and walk forward towards the story path. There's a couple of very well hidden floofs, like right away. There's a couple really tricky ones at the very end of the game. But just to the left here, you'll see this giant peach. And let's go ahead and mantle up onto the log and complete a little bit of platforming up these tree branches. Platforming can be a little bit weird sometimes with the way it kind of auto-locks to stuff. But after this little bit of platforming, we should get to a floof here worth 20. And then we'll have to backtrack our way to the area. And then directly across from us, from where we kind of come back down, you'll notice the kind of door that we're supposed to unravel as our main objective. And just to the left of that, if you keep kind of low onto the path, you'll be able to find another little side secret path here that allows us to get another hidden secret floof. This one, you do have to kind of watch out for some of the prickly bits, but this is an upgrade worth 10, and it does circle back around using a separate path. There's double jump and dash your way or glide your way over, so you don't have to worry about touching the water. Let's go ahead and climb up these two ledges towards our main story path. And then as we come down, you'll have to weave the first platform here, land on it, weave your second platform, double jump and glide. And then as you touch this land right here, go ahead and look left. Following the shoreline, you should come to the edge of the water where you can weave a tree stump. Once you weave that tree stump, you should be able to double jump and glide your way over to it to collect another floof, and then double jump and glide your way back. Directly in front of you, as you land, you should notice this kind of little house on the left, and next to it there's an open area with a pushable box. So let's go ahead and push that box in a way where we're able to climb up to the kind of tree branch. And once we do that, we should be able to get up on that tree branch where we can find another floof. So let's go ahead and grab that. And then we can drop down and let's go ahead and follow the main story path until we get to this next cutscene directly in front of us.
Boo what?
Yeah, I saw you jumping through the air back there. Ain't no one but a boo hag can do that. I ain't gonna steal my soul while I sleep.
I'm sorry, I need a bottle.
Yeah? Even you're not a boo hag, come up on this porch and prove it. I know full well you boo hags can't abide the color blue.
See? I ain't no boo hag.
Well, maybe I ain't. Thing is, I need all my bottles. Just for hates.
Wait, you see him too?
Well, I ain't entirely seen one. But they bite, and they clump up around places of old pain. You know, some folks say that if you scoop up those clumps, put them in a bottle and put that bottle in a bottle tree, you could cure the pain. Hasn't really worked out for me just yet, but...
Maybe I could help bottle up the pain.
That's why I'm the last person left here. All those damn haints. This part of the river's filthy with them. Ever since my brother went missing.
If you let me take a bottle, I could help.
Well, get you one off the tree then. And you're welcome to try bottling up the pain. But the roots of this trouble go deep.
With that cutscene over, we now have our bottle, which we can fill up using some of the story elements to progress the story, but there's a couple of collectibles that are kind of behind us right after that cutscene, so let's go ahead and grab those. On Rhubarb's little porch, go ahead and walk up and interact with the note by his front door for our second of 7 readables. And then if we go kind of behind the area here, there's a dock. You can come down the steps from that dock. In the first area, there's nothing here, but let's just double check. But around the corner here in front of us, there is a floof worth 10, as well as our third of 7 readables. This is one of the ones that's probably a little bit easier to miss than some of the others later on. But from there, we can now move forward to the main story path. There's a lot of little sections like this off the beaten path that have a lot of collectibles, and that includes this. As soon as we jump down, the story path is in front of us, but let's go ahead and stick to our left, following this optional side path. At the end of the side path, you should be able to jump over a log, weave a platform, weave another platform, and then double jump and glide your way over. If done quickly, you can grab the floof, and then you should be able to kind of get back all in one motion if you are quick enough. We can now very, very briefly join the main path here by jumping over these barbs. And instead of curving to the left, we are going to go to the right. There's a couple of things up here as well. Let's double jump and get our way up onto here, following the decking around. There are these eviction notices, which seem like readable collectibles, but they aren't. I will show this one, but I may skip one in the future. Those don't actually count, but they are kind of an optional thing you can grab just for, thoroughness. But do double jump onto the top of this building to get a couple more upgrade points, and then now you can join the main path again. As you rejoin the main path, just continue forward. And here you will not have to worry about anything. You'll see that there is some stuff in front of us directly here. So let's go ahead and watch out for these barbs again. Come around the corner. There is an eviction notice, which we'll skip. But around the corner, you can find another floof. From this floof, let's go ahead and join the main story path again very briefly, as there will be a house directly in front of us. We're going to enter that house. You'll notice on the table directly as you enter, there is our 4th readable. And then from that readable, let's go ahead and head upstairs. You may have noticed a floof kind of near the top of this building. You'll have to go through the building to the top. This will link you to a couple of branches on a tree here that you can climb and jump across to get your next floof for another 10. You'll now want to rejoin the main path. And instead of taking a left-hand turn from this house, take a right-hand turn. You'll notice a floof off in the distance. So we'll go ahead and grab that as well. If you're quick, you can do it in one motion and then, head back. Or you can wait if you want to take it a little bit easier, getting to this next little checkpoint in front of us. And here in front of us, there will be a fight. So you're free to upgrade your character if you want a little bit. I'm going to quickly grab the I'll grab the Weave Strand upgrade here, but it's not really that important which one we grab. I will also be working on the kind of held attack achievement, so you'll see me kind of hold a couple of attacks here. And I think if we defeat 5 enemies or so with that attack, we might make a little bit of progress here. Feel free to always grab your healing before you exit any of the battles. And then as soon as you are done the battle, we clearly didn't kill enough enemies with the held attack. But once we're ready to end the battle and leave the area, go ahead and rip open the stigma and then walk forward. This is our first of 4 bottling stations that we can fill up.
Their maw thought it best for Benji, who was bullied badly for being in his own world. But Rhubarb would not forgive him for uprooting their life.
What was that? Some kind of ghost memory?
You can just walk forward to the some kind of ghost memory we just mentioned, and once we do, we'll bottle it up.
It's acting funny.
And this is kind of what's going to fill our magic bottle, which is going to help us release the catfish later on. Now, as soon as we clear that, the stigma will clear, and instead of going to the main story path, as we've been doing for a lot of the game, we're actually going to go the opposite direction, right from where we released the unraveling. Let's jump across this gap here, and do not go upstairs. Instead, go to the end of the dock, and at the end of the dock, grab this tin flip. Tin flips are probably the hardest collectibles in the game, in my opinion, at least. And go ahead and grab the 5th readable of the game, or of the chapter, rather. And only once you do that, I would recommend going up the staircase. Weave the staircase itself. Don't get yourself stuck in that weave like I just did. And once it forms, go up the stairs. At the top of the stairs, use the right trigger and then the left bumper to weave yourself a rooftop. And from the rooftop, you can go ahead and collect your next floof. We can then go ahead and drop down for a bit here really quick. And then as you drop down here, you will notice a very tempting floof to your left, but you actually want to go more left than that. And there's a little side path that leads to the back. And on this side path, you'll be able to generate a platform, double jump and glide to it to unveil another tin flip. And then that tin flip, there's also these like little interactable items we have here, but we don't need those. But next to that, we can also just kind of jump around and end up back near that house with the carriage. And instead of following that main path yet again, let's go ahead and push the carriage towards the house. We can then jump up on the carriage to end up on the balcony. And from the balcony, we can grab this next floof. From here, let's go ahead and follow our main story path, watching out for these barbs that will hurt us and occasionally also push us off the ledge. As we come across here, you'll see a rooftop that we can weave. There's a pretty tricky floof around the corner, so weave this rooftop and then just follow the tree branches here. And at the top of these tree branches, watching out for the little barb that did hit me, we can find yet another floof. Let's go ahead and rejoin our main story path. And instead of taking a right-hand turn, let's go ahead and take a left-hand turn towards this house. Behind this house, there is a dock, and follow that dock to find a breakable wall behind it. Go ahead and break that wall to find another tin flip behind it. If we go ahead and press up on the D-pad, or if we pause the game rather, we are at 215 out of 385 for the Floofs. I think we have 5 of the 7 readables, and we have our 1 health filament as well. So with that, we are ready to kind of move on here, rejoining that main story path. And there will be another battle here directly in front of us. Feel free to use your upgrades however you please. We are going to be still working towards a couple of amplified rend kills as we work our way through this chapter. But don't risk yourself dying for it. It's not really worth it. This is a little bit of a new enemy type. It is a little bit more difficult. We do get a small tutorial. You can press the right trigger to push back the hurled haint. And we're going to be dodging a lot of like kind of long distance unblockables as well. I like to just weave them early on. They can do a lot of damage and be pretty dangerous. So I like to not really have to worry about them kind of right away. They're pretty easy targets for our amplified rend. So we're going to use that on them while we can here. With some more enemies spawning in, it can be a little bit difficult to kind of get them all together. So just keep yourself alive when you can, and use that amplified rend to get as many enemies as you can. But again, it's not that important right now.
Just fine.
Seems like I still don't have enough of those amplified kills, but it is what it is. We're working towards them, as that achievement will unlock eventually later on in this chapter.
When the townsfolk caught wind of Benji's difference, they started throwing rocks at him and his brother. Rhubarb was not surprised. Bad people always prey on those who stand out.
They can do that to a regular.
After we fill our bottle here for the second time, after that fight, after the cutscene, and once the stigma is cleared, we do have a few collectibles, one pretty obvious and one not so obvious. So let's go ahead and grab the obvious one, which is inside of the house, directly at the kind of edge of the fight there. There are 3 pictures we can interact with if we want to. I'll skip them, but allow you to do them if you so desire. On the balcony up here, you can find 10 floofs. And from there, you may also notice a floof directly in front of you on some of the tree ledges. So let's go ahead and grab that by going kind of underneath the tree, jumping down onto some of these floating platform rock things, and then this should allow us to kind of loop back onto the tree, watching out for the prickly barbs. Here you may need to do a little bit of a double jump onto the next ledge, and then this should get you to this floof, which is very large and worth 20, which is a great start. We can then drop down and refollow ourselves here to the main path by following straight across here. And then you'll be able to jump from kind of the right side of the catfish to the left side of the catfish.
And here I believe you were brand new at this.
I barely know what filling this thing does.
Oh, you see. One step at a time.
And then as you follow this path, it'll lead you into another fight, which again, you're free to use your points to upgrade some of your abilities. I'm going to upgrade my pole strand for now. And then we're going to go ahead and do kind of what we've been doing in these fights. Use your amplified rend to do some damage if you so desire. But just stay alive. Make sure you heal yourself if you need to, using the healing thing. Feel free to weave some of the enemies that do a little bit more damage, just to keep yourself safe. And you should be as good as done pretty soon.
The bear trap was meant for Benji. There weren't no bears around here. To Rhubarb, it was proof that things was going to get a lot worse, just like last time. There was no escaping it.
Oh my God. What kind of person would do that to someone?
After the fight, you'll get a reward of your 5 Floofs. It should clear all of the little stigma here. Instead of following that main path towards some of those tapestries, look to your kind of left while facing in the direction we're supposed to go. And you should notice kind of a little path that veers off onto an island. There'll be a bunch of barbs, but at the end of that, there should also be a Floof. So we're going to grab that before we head back, right after that fight and that little cutscene. There's a couple of tricky ones coming up. There's some really tricky ones coming up, but this next couple are a little bit tricky. So go ahead and go up the stairs and around the corner, and here we're going to learn a new ability. And that ability is the wall run ability, but we're not going to actually wall run as soon as we unlock the ability. This game has a little bit of a habit of having a cutscene, immediately putting something in front of you after the cutscene, but having the collectible directly behind you. So we've learned that we can now jump into a wall run across the wall, but instead we're going to actually turn around 180 degrees, and behind us there is an optional wall run, which leads to kind of 2 big floofs. So you're going to want to start on the right-hand side, jump into the wall to wall run, and then once you make it across, look to the right-hand side, and here you'll find a floof at the top of some trees. Watch out for the barbs. And then from up here, you may notice the next floof, but instead of going right after that wall run, we're going to basically go left after that wall run. It's not like a very natural path between them, but hopefully it makes sense what's going on. And then from this floof, we can kind of just use the wall run right next to it in order to circle back to where we came from. So go ahead and climb up these rocks and use the wall run. If you are an inverted player like me, the wall running is a little bit awkward just because the wall running height difference thing is also inverted. which typically it's not, but that is the life of an inverted player. With your floofs at 305 out of 385, we can go ahead and now run across the wall run.
Now that's cool.
And you'll want to end up on the roof of this building here. Work your way across this gap. Work your way across the next gap. There will be another wall run here for us. Then there is, you may notice some floofs off in the distance. Please ignore them. They're like kind of the last thing we're going to get. We can weave this tapestry that we can then jump across and run across. And as soon as we land after that, take a left-hand turn and you'll notice a floof 90 degrees to your left. So that's kind of the important one for now. Let's go ahead and grab that. There are some pointy barbs here, so watch out for them. If you're not quick enough, you'll get knocked off the platform like me. You'll also take some damage that you have to then carry into the fight. But let's go ahead and grab this floof as well. And then let's rejoin that main story path. Now here's where the game does something pretty tricky in this little section. We're going to basically ignore the main story path for a bit, because if you do it, it'll basically throw you into a cutscene, and then after that cutscene, you're forced out of this section. So you have to get all the collectibles before you force that cutscene to happen. So drop down, and instead of crossing the water, go to the left, and here you'll find a little fox that runs down a path. You can clear out some branches and then find a tin flip in here. Go ahead and grab that tin flip. From the tin flip, go ahead and follow the main path. And here there might be a very obvious path we're supposed to take into this house in the middle of the water. We are going to ignore that, because instead we can wall run using this house right here to a little bit of a secret area. Once we land on the house, you actually want to go to the right-hand side from house to house. After that house, you can drop down onto the ledges in front of you and climb those ledges to a floof that's right here. And now if you make your way back to these houses, you'll actually find a kind of optional side path to the right here. So instead of the main path, which is that way, we're going to go to the right, which is going to allow us to do a fight here, which is technically optional, but does give us a reward of floofs, which makes it kind of mandatory for someone like us who's trying to complete the game. So feel free to use your upgrades here. Just do this combat section however you want. I really enjoy using the jump and pound attack, which is called the aerial rend. I find it very useful against a lot of different types of enemies, and it lets you quickly get out of the way as well. But I will hopefully also unlock the amplified rend achievement here for defeating Haints after killing them with the amplified rend. There it goes. And if you don't have it, don't worry. It's about 10 enemies, I think, now that I've played a little bit and experienced this achievement a few times, but you'll definitely unlock it by the end of the game if you focus on it, or you can always go through chapter select. Just go ahead and complete this fight. And then that fight will also give us another 15 floofs, but it actually doesn't open up any new areas. But it does allow us to now kind of complete the chapter without having to worry about all the things we missed. So if you do want a quick little check, I think we're at 5 out of 7 readables, 345 out of 385 for our floofs. And we are kind of nearing-ish the end of the chapter, but there's still quite a bit to go. So make sure you finish it off strong here in the last one of the last buildings. Let's go ahead and cross the weaved tapestry on the first floor here. Make sure on the balcony before you head inside, you grab the floof around the corner. Once we kind of head inside and make our way through the building, we're locked out of all these sections. So go inside of the building now. And on the first floor on the table near the middle of the room, you can find readable number 6 out of 7. The reason these are a little bit tricky is because if you are talking to yourself in the game during like a dialogue section, you actually won't see the prompts for these. But now that you have 6 out of 7, go ahead and head up to the second floor. On the second floor, stay in the second floor and grab the readable on the post, which is 7 out of 7. Do not go upstairs yet. Instead, go onto the balcony of the second floor, which has another floof. And once you have that all done in the building, only now should you go up to the third floor and start the next fight. Once you start this fight, all the sections before are going to be locked, so you're not going to be able to do any of them. So just make sure you have everything you need, which is 365 out of 385 and 7 out of 7 readables. And for this fight, we're just going to try to make our way through the enemies kind of as quickly and easily as possible. Once you've taken care of all of the enemies, go ahead and unravel that stigma. Walk towards this next bottling section. With that bottle filled up, we start a little bit of a cutscene and a little bit of a running away type section.
Rhubarb was tired of tending to his needs instead of showcasing what he could do. By this point, Rhubarb felt he had moved enough.
Oh, God. What did Rhubarb do?
Curious. You shouldn't be here. Let us remedy it.
Who's there? Oh, fuck.
Nothing to worry about during this section like collectibles. We are just going to be running away for the next minute or so. Using some of the platforming we've been learning, which involves a lot of wall running, a little bit of strand weaving, whichever one that is, and then just keep making your way across the gaps. You'll need to double jump. You'll probably need to glide a couple of times. So just make sure you do all the good stuff to safely get to the end of the section. With your bottles filled, let's go ahead and just make our way back to the Catfish. It seems like he let us know that with the filled bottle, we should be able to release him, which is kind of our main objective for this entire mission. There should be a pretty easy and quick way to get back to him by following the main mission marker. I believe there's a short little cutscene here as we approach. Walk up to the tangle to the left of the Catfish and interact with it.
Hurry up and fix that tangle.
Okay, what crazy thing is about to happen now?
I assume your first time in Yui was a bit eventful?
Oh, yeah. You could have warned me about the fog.
Fog? Oh, that fog. Yes. Must have slipped my mind. I'm a tad dehydrated. You get a pattern?
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be so personal.
Secrets are a terrible burden. That's why I'm so eager to help. By listening.
Okay. So what do I have to do to help Benji so I can get you down so I can save my mama?
Use that pattern to fix that big old tangle. You'll need to reweave Benji too. But first things first. Go fix that tangle. When Rhubarb said go inside the hollow tree for a game, Benji did it. Even when he was nailing the hollow shut, Benji trusted him. There must have been a moment when Rhubarb decided to leave him there. And a moment when Benji, trapped inside that tree, finally understood. He must have cried to the heavens. Somehow the tree took pity, and somehow Benji become the tree. But he'd never forget that the brother he had loved had done this to him.
Whoa. What kind of magic is that?
And what kind of man would kill his own brother? Okay. What do I do now?
Now scuttle up on Benji like a squirrel now.
I remember my brother.
From here, we just have some platforming, a couple more collectibles to grab kind of along this route. They're pretty easy, but let's just be thorough and make sure we have them all before we end the mission, as we don't want to have to replay the entire mission. Some really great music and soundtrack happening now as well. But we're basically just going to be climbing the tree for the next little bit of time here. And we will do a quick little check to make sure we have all the floofs and everything before we finish it off. Here, you just want to make sure you don't hit your head on the barb at the very top. You will have to move some parts of the tree in order to be able to complete some of the navigations. After this wall run, as you land, just around the corner to your left is a floof. Let's go ahead and grab that. And then just continue along the path, watching out for some of the barbs and stuff. Around this corner, you should notice a wall to climb. So let's go ahead and climb that. And directly in front of you is another floof. This should be our last one for the chapter. So if we were to pause the game now, we'll be at 385 out of 385. 1 out of 1 health filament. And 7 out of 7 readables. Make sure you have all those. If you've been following along, you will. And let's just go ahead and now continue going up the tree here. The music in this game is definitely one of the best parts.
It was safe and dry. He trusted me fully. I nailed him inside.
Sorry to be moving you around like this.
He thought we were playing. That was a lie. He was my brother. saw things different. He was my shade, and I said goodbye. I said farewell. I took my hammer, I took it to hell.
That looked like it hurts. I bet that's where I used the pattern.
Mind moving your arm a little bit so I can get up? Is that okay?
This is the last little ledge you'll climb on the way to the wound. We will attack the wound and use the pattern, now that we have the knowledge of what happened, to kind of cleanse the rock here.
Taking a shot in the dark.
And this more or less concludes a large amount of Chapter 3.
You'll let him go now, won't you?
This ain't more than a mud puddle. Meet me at Rhubarb's dock.
Where's that fish? He better keep his promise.
Whoa! Pardon my mud. What'd you see? Tell me all the juicy details.
Is this entertainment for you?
Well, fish ain't got no TV.
The things I saw? I get why Mama had to wash her day off when she got home. Use up all our hot water on really bad days.
Oh, was your mama a weaver too?
Social worker. She never really felt like she helped enough. Do you think I did enough for Benji?
Oh, my dear. Weavers do fix things deep down. They mend parts of your soul so ripped, you'd forgotten they were ever one piece.
How do you know so much? Did a weaver ever help you?
Oh, I don't like to talk much about myself. Hop on. Oh, I'm not as slimy as I look. Don't you want to find your mama? Now wait till I tell everyone how that terrible tree abducted me for my stories. And just when I was about to be desiccated, a weaver showed up.
That cutscene kind of concludes Chapter 3 for us. It's one of the longer chapters in the game, but there's still some long ones to go. If you found that video helpful, drop a like, share the video with a friend. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon, and hopefully I see you in the next chapter.